This video is brought to you by Keeps. What's up guys, RBG here bringing you more updates on Marvel's Avengers, and boy do we have a lot to go over in today's video. Firstly, I just want to say that I enjoyed the first open beta we got over the weekend, and you can expect to see my impressions / review soon. For the most part, I love what I saw, but a few things did raise concerns, and I've been going back and forth with some of the devs on some of the issues on the official Discord service for Marvel's Avengers, so hopefully those things will be fixed by the time the game releases. But for the most part, everything has been going smoothly. I can say that there's been a huge turnaround when it comes to people's interest in this game since the beta has released. Something else that seems to be getting more people on board are the potential characters we can see in the game. So far we have confirmation that Hawkeye will be one of the post-launch characters, alongside the most controversial reveal being Spider-Man, who will only be available on the PS4 and PS5 next year. Crystal Dynamics has promised that these additional characters will be free of charge with the exception of cosmetics, but they haven't given any specifics on how frequently they'll be releasing these add-ons. Anyways, as I was saying, the beta had a lot of fans excited for what's to come in the full game. Given that we only had a few days to get as much as we could out of it, we explored every crevice of each map available in the war zones, discovering secret vaults that featured rare gear. There were even legendary gears you could find depending on the difficulty level. But there were other players who were more curious about what was within the game's data, and apparently there was some rather interesting things. Over the weekend, a new Reddit account called 6 + 4 = 52 claimed that they found 10 characters within Marvel's Avengers network data. The code link lists several known playable heroes including Hulk, Iron Man, Hawkeye, and more. It also lists 3 unannounced heroes in the form of War Machine, Kate Bishop, and She-Hulk. Now, something that I gotta disclose is that the code for these characters refers to in-game items called hero cards, and there's currently no description on what these hero cards are, let alone what they do. So the leak doesn't necessarily confirm that either of these characters will be playable in the game. If anything, they could simply be references to the comics and other source material within the Marvel lore. And some people suggest that She-Hulk and Kate Bishop could be echo fighters of Hulk and Hawkeye. And I wouldn't be surprised if War Machine is nothing more than an alternate skin for Iron Man. Fans of fighting games are more than likely familiar with the concept of echo fighters or clones. We've seen our fair share of them in games like Street Fighter with characters like Ryu and Ken, and you also have characters like Eddie and Christy from Tekken 4. So it's a pretty fair assumption that these 3 characters found within the beta could possibly serve as nothing more than clones. But this assumption seems unlikely given a previous statement made from Crystal Dynamics Studios head Scott Amos. During an interview given by IGN, he insisted that the DLC heroes would not feel like the heroes in the base game and would have their own identities and abilities. And I honestly feel like this will be the case once we do get an official reveal for these characters. After getting a lot of hours in on the beta, I could actually really feel how much nuance each of Avengers members had with their mechanics. Like, all of them feel unique in their own way, and even though I only had access to a handful of levels, they felt different anytime I played with each specific character. Now with that said, there have been a few things to suggest that some of the characters may serve a different purpose than what we suspect. I already mentioned the hero cards earlier, but She-Hulk and Kate Bishop have also been reportedly found on listings for tokens and nameplates as well. But until we have a better idea of the collectibles and resources in Marvel's Avengers, we can't say for sure what that means. Given the fact that this iteration of Hawkeye seems to be borrowing heavily from Matt Fraction's run of the Hawkeye comics, it's not too far of a stretch to believe that Kate Bishop will serve as nothing more than an NPC in Clint Barton's upcoming DLC mission. I could be wrong, but I just don't see Crystal Dynamics adding another sharpshooting archer this soon. Like, we still haven't gotten a chance to play with Hawkeye, and other than their genders, there's no real difference between him and Kate. She literally features Hawkeye's bow and sword, which he gave to her in the comics, so I don't think she's a priority at the very moment. They could just introduce her as a playable character once the Hawkeye show comes out on Disney+, since it's highly alluded to that Clint will be passing the Hawkeye mantle over to Kate, but now it doesn't seem like the time. As far as War Machine and She-Hulk are concerned, I think those characters will definitely be playable, and they'll be polar opposites from their already playable counterparts. Instead of being slow like the Hulk, She-Hulk could offer more grace and agility, and War Machine could be this heavy artillery wielding powerhouse that moves slightly slower compared to Iron Man. Both of these characters are going to offer something new, and I for one cannot wait to see what it is. But anyways, I wanted to get into this second topic that's caused quite a bit of concern amongst the community, and that is the fact that Sony PlayStation won't be the only brand that has access to exclusive content for Marvel's Avengers. Apparently Square Enix is taking promotions a step further with other brands such as Verizon and Virgin among others, and fans aren't too happy about it. A few days ago, an unofficial Marvel's Avengers Twitter page called Marvel's Avengers Countdown tweeted that Verizon and Virgin customers can look forward to a pack of exclusive in-game skins. And they say the skins will be identical across the two networks, and although they haven't revealed unlock criteria, it looks like subscribers will receive red and white skins for all 6 base heroes. A second skin pack will be available to Intel users, and that particular pack will come with a retro Thor skin complete with his classic winged helmet, a variation of Black Widow's costume, a Stars and Stripe themed Captain America, a color swap variant of Miss Marvel, a blue Hulk sporting tribal livery, and an early variant of Iron Man's armor. The leak from the Twitter handle also reveals that a further promotion will be available in the US as a collaboration with 5 Chewing Gum. A variety of awards are included, such as a Miss Marvel nameplate, in-game currency, and a bubblegum emote for Kamala Khan. This news comes 1 week after it was revealed that PlayStation would have exclusive rights to Spider-Man as well as early access to cosmetics and community challenges, and there are a lot of fans who are disappointed with this business practice. Some think that the cosmetics should be unlockable instead of exclusive to corporations, and there are content creators on YouTube who just use this to amplify the narrative that this will be nothing more than a cheap cash grab of a game. And man, I feel like this is 2018 all over again. If any of my longtime subscribers remembers back when people discovered that Devil May Cry 5 would have microtransactions and influencers like Young Ya, Jim Sterling, and Angry Joe were making a big deal out of it, I had to put on my negotiator hat and explain that what they were complaining about wasn't really a big deal at all. I feel like the word microtransaction has become the biggest taboo in today's generation of gaming, even though it's been a thing for the past decade and will continue to be prominent. While some of it is worth rallying against, there are some ways that it's incorporated in a fair manner that doesn't affect the overall game. And I feel like purchasable cosmetics for our games as a service is reasonable. But people like Dreamcast Guy and Jim Sterling have convinced fans that this is somehow bad and will harm the overall game. Because good old outrage is just as lucrative as these microtransactions, am I right? This has been the era of whiners crying about small things, and some of the influencers who make these expose videos on these kinds of things contradict themselves over and over. Like, don't get the wrong idea, I love watching Dreamcast Guy's videos. I've been subscribed to him for a couple years now and I agree with a lot of what he says. But whenever he makes videos like the one he made covering Marvel's Avengers beta or the one exposing the exclusive suits, I couldn't do nothing but scratch my head, man. Because on one hand he says that the game is going to be a dumpster fire, and on the other hand he says that he's trying to get a review code to review the game in the same video. He also says that he's a fan of the source material, but then complains that X-Men aren't in the game even though it's called Marvel's Avengers. In his latest video he stresses how ugly the skins are, but he's annoyed that he won't be able to have access to them. Like, do you see what I'm talking about? Just a bunch of contradictions, man. And the funny part about all this is that these costumes that he claims that he won't be able to have in the game are basic recolors of pre-existing skins. Not only that, but they are all timed exclusives, meaning that we'll eventually have access to the costumes once these deals with each respective collaborator expires. After hearing this bit of info, it should throw all these complaints out the window. There are going to be tons of suits that you can unlock through missions and challenges in the game, and the ones that are going to be locked behind specific platforms will be available at some point. Like, I have a nagging suspicion that Spider-Man could be available on all platforms later on down the line. And Sony hasn't confirmed if it's a timed exclusive deal, which I can't blame them because they want people to support their version of the game. But if it ever does get revealed that it is in fact a timed exclusive, a lot of people who petition against this game and cancel pre-orders are gonna look silly. It's just so weird how other developers can sell DLC expansions, but when it comes to Crystal Dynamics selling timed exclusive skins, it's a problem. Even though we're getting everything else like additional characters, missions, and maps for free after the game launches. If this post-launch strategy is something Crystal Dynamics plans on doing for years to come, they're gonna need financial compensation to make up for the development cycles. And I know there are gonna be comments stating that they're already receiving your $60 for the game, but retail sales can only take a game so far. The prices are obviously gonna drop later when it's not as relevant, and stores like GameStop are gonna start selling used copies. So yeah, this is a pretty reasonable way for the developers to get something back for their work that they're gonna be putting in. And the best thing about all of this is that it's gonna have no effect on how you play the game. You have the option to buy these services or just happen to be already subscribed to the services like Virgin, or you can wait and have these suits accessible to unlock. It's just like your favorite YouTuber. Even though someone like Dreamcast Guy's content is for free, you still have the option to pay money for his Patreon content. Or you can click on his join button to become a member and receive whatever exclusive content he has on there. You see how this works? It's so funny seeing content creators get mad when developers want to make money for their work, even though they're pretty much doing something similar with their YouTube content. They can call these games corporate buffet tables, even though their YouTube videos are receiving ad revenue from corporations. So everyone just needs to take a breather and calm the hell down. Like, the company wants to make money, these YouTubers want to make money, I know I'm gonna make money. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna let you hear a word from today's sponsor. So I've been covering Marvel's Avengers a little over a year now, and I've noticed this unusual trend of baldness among some of the characters. And it just isn't with this game. You can see it in some of the other Marvel games such as Marvel Spider-Man for the PS4. You might have thought that MODOK was just lurking in the shadows in this scene to add to the dark atmosphere, when in actuality he's trying to hide the fact that his large dome is missing an overwhelming amount of hair. If you ask me, he should have went with keeps. 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35, and the best way to prevent hair loss is to do something about it while you still have your hair left. That's why you gotta try Keeps. Keeps has revolutionized the way men are treated for hair loss. They make it easy and deliver your medication every 3 months so you can say goodbye to those long pharmacy checkout lines and awkward doctor visits. You don't have to go broke to avoid going bald, but you need to jump on this ASAP because prevention is key. And this product can take up to 4 to 6 months or more to see results, so it's important to act fast. Instead of wasting time and money on scientific advancements, our boy MODOK here could have prevented his baldness by jumping on this offer. Thankfully, you can learn from his mistake. If you're ready to make the first step in preventing further hair loss, you can go to keeps.com/randomblackgamer or click the link in the description to receive 50% off your first order. That's keeps.com/randomblackgamer. But anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and hopefully that tidbit of info on microtransactions puts your worries to rest. I just can't stand how today's quote-unquote journalists are becoming outrageous for the sake of clicks and popularity. That's why I'm dedicated to calling them out anytime I see bogus claims being made against games. Anyways, let me know what you think. Do you think the 3 leaked characters will be playable? And do you think Square's timed exclusive costumes will have a negative impact on your experience with the game? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, I ask you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. Any feedback is good feedback and will only help me improve on future content. But if you really enjoyed the video, it would help me out tremendously if you shared it with all your friends and followers on social media. Sharing really makes a difference. Well, once again, this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.